Hey everybody, Chris Wood from CSPerformance. I'm going to take this opportunity to do another video and show you a little bit more in depth about the parts that we're going to be utilizing on Jake's 1983 AMC Eagle SX4. We're going to go over engine parts, so this might be a little bit longer of a video than prior, and there's good reason. There's a lot of really neat technology here that we're going to be utilizing to improve the reliability and performance of Jake's car. I first wanted to start off with our beautiful Harlan sharp rockers. These things are absolutely beautiful, and I've used them before in other engine builds, but I can't help but marvel over how good a quality they are. They make some of the best I've ever seen. So we're going to be utilizing these. These are 1:6 rocker ratio, and they are adjustable. Because of the custom cam profile that we're going to be using, and the valve springs and different push rods, we had to make sure that we would be able to get our lash set properly. So, and we'll be going over that in a video later on during the engine assembly. So, next up, we have one of my favorite items. This is the Remflex exhaust and intake manifold gasket. AMC Automotive, they had problems with intake leaks. I have had many times where the thin regular gaskets are leaking, and it does not do us any good. So Remflex has designed these gaskets, and they make these for multiple different brands. You can get them for Chevy, Ford, Dodge. I believe they even make a whole bunch of import stuff. But they use a thicker material, and I don't know if the video will do this any justice, but if you've ever used AMC or Jeep intake manifold gaskets, they're very thin. This is a nice thick piece, and what happens is when you tighten up your intake and exhaust manifolds, this actually does crush. So it provides an excellent seal and also excellent protection against blowing out on an exhaust port. So really nice pieces here. I really highly recommend them, and their price isn't terrible. You can find them all through all your different vendors' websites. They're available through multiple places. So, next up, we're going to talk about the Banks Power Tube header. This is one of the nicest ones I've seen for a Jeep, and there's many out there. You can get them, very cheap ones on eBay. I really recommend steering away from them because I've seen them have notorious cracking issues. Heard nothing but good things about this piece. I have not used one of these personally, but it is definitely of good quality. You check out the welds. They have a nice thick plate. On the Jeep vehicles, this actually has to mimic the thickness of the intake manifold in order to actually fit properly and crush that gasket. But boy, they sure did do a nice job on the welds around the primary tubes. The Revolver Collector is one of my favorite pieces, and I don't know if this is going to work on video, but I'm going to try. If you look down inside of here, you can see the design of the collector. Okay, most of them you have just different length tubes all kind of jammed into two collectors. Sometimes they'll merge into one. Some of them have two different, three different banks. It's not designed very well. This, on the other hand, provides a really nice flow. And of course, one of the design features that Banks talks about in their advertising for these is the power pickle. Now, I have to talk about this, and I know it kind of sounds funny, but to me it looks like a very good design feature. Again, looking down inside the collector, you can see there's a tube down the center. This enables not only clean flow from all of your outside exhaust tubes coming in, but you also have a center one that's a little bit short, and it enables them to keep the primary tube length more even across all the cylinders. Really nice design. So, hats off to you guys. You do nice work. Then, we're going to talk about this lovely piece. As Jake calls it, his crowning jewel for the car. This is the Edelbrock all-aluminum cylinder head for the Jeep 4.0 and 4.2. We have not done any work to this head. This is all from the factory out of the box. You can see the nice CNC port match design, modern style combustion chambers, and very nice casting all the way through. Really, it's a very nice piece. Now we will be changing valve springs. Due to our cam profile that we're going to be using, we actually had to we're going to have to go up to a stiffer spring. So 505 Performance, the engine builder, who we'll discuss here in a minute, they're going to be providing those to us because we purchased the cylinder head separately. So again, great piece. I don't know how much longer these are going to be available on the market. Sounds like they might be pulling back on this product. So if you want one, go find it now. So next up, I'm going to talk about harmonic balancers. Not a lot of people think about these, but I feel it's a very important piece of the engine. This one is actually designed and built by PRW. They have taken the Jeep standard design and improved it. You have, instead of rubber for your isolator, they actually utilize urethane. This thing will stay together. I don't know how many of you guys have had experience with the Jeep 4.0. These things, the rubber has a tendency to dry rot and crack, and eventually your outer sleeve will spin relative to the inner sleeve, and you won't be able to set your timing anymore, and eventually this will come apart and then you're screwed. So buy a good one. Next, we're going to talk about a little bit of engine management. Jay kind of briefly discussed this. This product is made by Progression Ignition. We have a partial sponsorship from them. Wanted to discuss it with you because this is a absolutely awesome ignition system. For our purposes and for anyone else trying to run a kind of more old school look, or want to run a carburetor and still have modern features of a modern ignition, this is the way to go. Now, some of you probably have seen the inside of an AGI distributor before, so you'll kind of know what you're looking at. Instead of having your rotor mounted on springs with weights that change, relative to engine RPM, this actually has an electronic module in it that you can set your ignition curve through a Bluetooth device, your cell phone, a tablet, whatever, and it allows you to actually change your ignition curve on the fly without ever having to touch this physically. Great product. I have one on my car. It runs amazing. So check them out. I really highly recommend it. We'll put a link to their stuff below. Now, talking about fueling, we have, thank goodness for this, Tech has provided us with a full sponsorship for this build. They provided us with the 600 horsepower power adder setup. It is a 4-barrel, and I actually run a Tech on my personal vehicle. It's the 2-barrel version, and I've had wonderful success with it. Excellent, tunable, easy to wire, easy to use, and one of the very few products on the market that actually has an internal regulator, so you don't have to mount an external regulator to run this. So keep that in mind. Not a lot of people talk about that. Very important. Makes your fueling system way easier to build. So thank you again, Tech, for that. And that about covers all the engine stuff that we have right now. Our engine is on the way. We've discussed it before. It's on a truck on its way here. At that point, I will go over all of the finer points of the actual short block and bottom end of the engine. Until then, thanks for watching. Please do subscribe, comment below, and we'll see you next time.